Hey everyone, welcome to Bad Beat Sports Betting Week 11. We're doing a little early this week using Wednesday odds from DraftKings. It's because one of us got a busy weekend. It's not me. How are you doing, Steve?
Doing all right. Doing all right. But yeah, this will be fun to actually. Normally, we're talking about our Thursday pick in the past tense every week. Be
Yeah, I
fun.
was thinking about actually putting it in the parlay, but I don't want to. That's a long time to be waiting on results, and it could be trashed really early if I lose the Thursday game.
Yeah,
But we both, after losing the Thursday game last week, we both had double-digit wins last week on cards that we weren't really confident on. So
yeah.
that was a nice surprise.
The research worked. I've come back with some more. Got my calling card, my play card right here.
Yeah, you need to have a play at the line of scrimmage, and then your audibles if something changes. But we're locking in Wednesday picks, even if lines move. I guess if anything like extreme happens, like if an entire team goes on the COVID list,
Yeah, we could
maybe
always
we'll make an
we
exception.
could
But
make a follow up quickie video if we had to.
yeah, yeah, maybe. But we'll get going. So the Thursday game is Cardinals at Seahawks. This game was a couple weeks ago Sunday night football game, and it lived up to the billing. I
Yeah,
think Tyler Lockett had 3 touchdowns or something like that. Uh, that there was that big play by DK Metcalf to run down Buda Baker, but the Cardinals still came out
yeah, they,
on top at home, and that started the Seahawks' little downslide
yeah. I was about
because
to
they were
say,
undefeated up to that point.
I was about to go
So they're
into
three
that.
point favorites at home, which pretty much means that it's a pick 'em in the eyes of sports books. Where are you going with this game?
So yeah, this is a hard one. It definitely is pick 'em. Uh, but so Seattle, since playing the Cardinals, was that? It's about 3 weeks ago now. It's the end of last month, and they're 1-2 since then. In terms of against the spread, both teams are 5-4, so it really is a pick 'em there. I think Seahawks had the lead for a long time in that game and blew it at the end. I don't think they dropped 2 games in this important divisional, so I'm gonna take their money line. I think they squeak out with a win.
I agree. I'm taking the money line too, just because they play a lot of close games. They haven't been good against the spread. I'm using the same logic I used with the Bills a couple weeks ago against the Ravens. I don't think that, or maybe it wasn't the Ravens. It was the game after the Patriots game. I use the logic that they're too good a team to play this poorly for too long, and I think it's the same thing with Seattle. I think that they'll win the game. Going on to the Sunday slate, Eagles at Browns is the first game on the ledger. Browns 3 point home um, favorite, so again another pick 'em in the eyes of the sports book, and I don't think it really should be. I think the Browns are a significantly better team right now with significantly less holes. There's supposed to be weather again, like there's been the last couple weeks in Cleveland, so
Yeah,
I think Kevin Stefanski will have an edge over Doug Peterson in the conditions.
yeah. I agree with the weather conditions on that. I also think the Browns are a better team than the Eagles. But this is actually the third home game in a row for the Browns, I believe, is what I saw, which I think makes that weather factor really come into their favor. Now, if they're playing 3 weeks in a row with that high winds, apparently it's been going on in Cleveland. At least that's what all the sites have been talking about.
Yeah, and they're better when they don't have to throw the ball anyway. When they could just hand it off to Chubb and Hunt, they're a much better football team. And it's only 3 points, so we won't have to worry about Nick Chubb running out of the bounds at the half-yard line this time. That was a bad beat for sure. One of my losses from last week. Then we got Steelers at Jaguars. Steelers 10-point favorites on the road. It feels like a game to me. I know that the Steelers will pull out the win, but it feels like the Cowboys game from from a couple weeks ago where they just squeaked out. Like Jake Luton's actually been pretty good at quarterback the 2 weeks he started. So I'm taking the Jaguars with the 10 points.
It's so hard to want to pick against the Steelers here. For me, they are 7-2 against the spread, the best against the spread team this season. Best team this season. I mean, the record speaks for itself. At least we'll get into that later on if we want to. But
But I'm going to interrupt you because there was a stat from a couple weeks ago that I brought up. When Mike Tomlin is a double-digit favorite on the road, Steelers are 1-10 against the spread.
I have not seen that stat. That is an intriguing stat.
Well, it was one. I brought it up. It was 1-9 before the Cowboys game. So now it's 1-10.
I'm gonna go against you again there though. Mainly from a non-betting trend perspective, the Jaguars are giving up so many sacks this year. I think like 28 or 30, something like that. While the Steelers have a ridiculous amount at 36. And it's hard to score points when we know the Steelers are going to walk away with a good amount of sacks. And I think that is why I'm going to stick with Steelers minus 10 here. Gets to 2-10.
Yeah, you're using logic for sure. That stat sheet's coming in handy. What do you got for Patriots at Texans? Texans are 2-point underdogs.
I'm gonna take the Pats to cover that or beat that 2 points. I really kind of want to take their money line here. I'm actually not even sure why they're underdogs. We're talking Texans put up a measly 7 points last week in a game where I thought they would score a lot more.
Yeah, it just feels like the Texans are done for this year. The Patriots, I don't have stats to back it up, but I just feel like Deshaun Watson is one of those quarterbacks that Belichick's owned since he came into the league. I don't have stats to back that up, but I feel like the Patriots will have no problem improving to 5-5 and covering that 2 points. Bengals at Washington football team.
Yeah, so for me, this was not a hard pick. All my sheet says, I don't even think you see it, is Bengals. Take the Bengals. I never bet on the football team. Take the Bengals to cover.
The Bengals, I think it'll be a high-scoring football game. And maybe a low-key exciting one. Like Alex Smith actually had the offense humming against the Lions and Joe Burrow. We all know what him and T. Higgins could do. You're taking the money line. I'm taking the 1.5 points because the Bengals are underdogs. So just playing it safe there. I'm kind of surprised with what you put on the sheet for this one. Titans at Ravens.
Yeah, this is a hard one for me.
Dude, go with what works. You remember what happened? What it was in the playoff game last year?
Things are a little different. We're talking regular season for one. I get a little less gutsy in the regular season with these, but here's my logic on this one. Since they both played the Colts within the past 2 weeks, I'm using the Colts as a benchmark for how I picked this. The Ravens beat the Colts 24-10, while Tennessee lost 34-17 to the Colts. So using that Colts as my benchmark made me make this tough decision picking against the Titans. I hope this is the only time I have to pick against the Titans, but it just seems like the right call this week.
I didn't even think of that. That actually is a good benchmark. They both played a good team recently and had very different results. I feel like this is, how Derrick Henry goes on his late November rampage. I think this will be the first game of his rampage. And I hope not because I'm playing against him in fantasy, but I think it might happen. I think the Colts have a better front seven than the Ravens do, even though the Ravens have some big names up there. I think it's a little bit overrated. And Derrick Henry can get something going, start bruising some Ravens. Then we got Falcons at Saints. Falcons are 5-point underdogs against Jameis Winston and the New Orleans Saints. Actually, I'm not sure if they officially announced it was Jameis. It could be Taysom Hill, but I feel like Jameis is the backup and Taysom Hill's still the gadget player.
I trust Winston more than I think Winston could still be a starter in this league.
Yeah, I actually think that they'll be good, but I don't think that they're 5 points better than the Falcons. The Falcons have lost close games against good teams, and they've been kind of hot going into their bye week. So I'm taking the 5 points with the Falcons.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing for me. Again, I wrote no Breeze in a divvy matchup. Falcons +5. I think the Saints will probably wind up eking out the win here. They are the better team, but I think the Falcons will hang in there all game long.
Agreed. I think it could be. Actually, you'll see it's reflected in my parlay, but I think the Falcons will lead for most of the game. And then it'll come down to either a pick six by Jameis or a touchdown drive by Jameis. Lions at Panthers. this is the last 1 o'clock game. No one's really gonna care about this game, even though the Lions are sneaky in the playoff hunt. Like they're in the graphics still. They haven't got taken off yet. Panthers are 1.5 point favorites. I'm going with the Lions money line. Well, not it. I'm taking it, but I'm hoping that Stafford's able to play through his injury because that'll change it a lot.
Yeah, I hate these are two teams I hate betting on ever. So this was really a pick 'em for me, but I think what is it? Panthers have dropped what, like 5 straight now or something like that. The Lions are still kind of in contention. They really are still in contention. They if they win this, they could get to 500. So that was my logic with this. I think the Lions will get to 500 this week, and so I'm taking Lions money line.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm surprised that I know the Lions are probably underrated as a team, but the Panthers are without McCaffrey still, and Bridgewater's like a highly questionable play right now with his right knee injury. He left, and I forgot who PJ Walker came in for him last game, so they could either go to him or Will Greer. Neither one of them, I think, will win them a football game. So I think the Lions are the way to go. Do you agree? Jets at Chargers.
Yeah, this is not too much logic has to go in this one. Again, you always got to be fearful that the Jets might pull off their one win of the year against any team. This could be a team they do it against, but the odds are in your favor betting against the Jets and taking the Chargers to cover 8.5 because the Jets are the second worst team against the spread this year at 2-7, and I'm amazed that they are actually not the worst.
They are on a 2-game covering streak. This is a trap. I'm not saying anything because it's the Jets, but this is a trap for sure. Anytime you're laying almost 9 points with the Chargers, it's a trap.
Give me a new 15-year-old looking Herbert to carry me to victory here. This terrible buzz cut.
Yeah, that is not the haircut you want to see on your starting quarterback.
He looks like that.
On to another rookie who has a pretty decent haircut. Tua Tagovailoa, the Dolphins at the Broncos, 3.5-point favorites on the road. I'm taking it. I'm riding the Dolphins until they prove not to. That's one of the best teams against the spreads. They're up there with the Chiefs, and like we said last week, they're not just covering, they're destroying the number.
Yeah, that's my logic. I didn't even write stats down with them because I knew I was picking them this week. So yeah, Dolphins to cover for me as well.
Packers at Colts. This is
a fun one because we always go head to head on these Packer games.
Yep. And it's also just it's probably one of the top 3 games this week. I might put the Cardinals and Seahawks and probably Rams Bucks over it, but this is a good game for the 4:30 window. I'm taking the Colts -3 because I can never pick the Packers. It's worked for me the last couple weeks though. And also I liked what I saw out of Phillip Rivers. He didn't try to do too much. He did a lot of checkdowns to Michael Pittman and Hines out of the backfield. If they do that against the Packers and just move the football, that's kind of how so beating the Packers comes down to getting Aaron Rodgers out of rhythm. And if the Colts could have 10-play drives against the Packers, burning 7 minutes off the clock like they did against the Titans, then Rodgers is going to not be in rhythm. He's best when the defense forces a 3-and-out and he could score 14 quick points. Was what I was saying.
So I again didn't write stats down for this one because I knew Dave was going to pick against the Packers, and my logic is I got to pick the Packers every time Dave picks against them. Also, I think some logic in this for me was that the Packers, they let the Jaguars hang around for too long in that game, and I think they know they need to get a better start. I believe they're pretty healthy right now at the moment, the Packers at this point. And as Dave is a Rodgers hater, I am a Rivers hater. So,
I traditionally am a Rivers hater too, but more so Aaron Rodgers because I can go on for hours. Cowboys at Vikings. Vikings are 7.5-point favorites. I think I'm taking the money line because Andy Dalton is back, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt over guys like Ben DiNucci and Gilbert, even though Gilbert looked good in his one start. So I'm going to take the Vikings, but they won't be able to cover a big number.
I'm going to take the Vikings to cover. And you are looking at, now you know how I said the Jets were the second worst team against the spread? Now the Cowboys, the worst team against the spread at 1-8. Your odds are very much in your favor.
That's true. I didn't think of that. They covered their first game against the Steelers, but it's kind of the same situation. Big number. Vikings usually struggle with. We'll see. We're going head to head. A lot of these 1 o'clock games we're on the same page on pretty much all of them, but one. We'll have some head-to-head matchups. The 4:30 games will make this week. Then we got Chiefs at Raiders, the Sunday night football game. Once I heard the story that the Chiefs were angry at John Gruden driving the bus around Arrowhead Stadium, it was Chiefs by a million. I'll take the 6.5 points. I think they'll win by 2 touchdowns.
Well, remember a couple weeks ago I said my number one rule: don't bet against the Chiefs. I'm following that. Don't bet against the Chiefs.
Good call.
Don't do it.
It's been a good rule so far. I haven't followed it. Rams at Bucks. Rams are 3.5 point favorites on the road. Or no, they're 3.5 point underdogs. I was looking at our picks. I'm taking the Rams to cover. Same logic as picking them last week. They're up there with the Saints, the only two teams that are top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. And we saw it's kind of the same logic you're taking with the Ravens and Titans game. We saw a balanced team go up against the Bucks and they destroyed them. I don't think the Rams will destroy them, but I think they'll control the game and win.
Yeah, I think I also just like the way the Rams are playing, and I've been rolling the dice on them the past couple weeks and it's been paying off. I don't see any reason to stop in this game.
Agreed. So that's the slate. Lines might move a little bit, but we're locking our picks in here. You want to move on to parlays?
Yeah, I got my parlay. They didn't have player props up though yet. I guess too early.
Yeah, the player props usually go up like Friday afternoon.
Maybe I did a 6-game money line parlay here. Maybe I'll throw out a little player prop one and tweet it on Saturday morning, just for fun. But the Thursday Steve special right now is just 6 money lines. Keep it simple. Just got to root for a winner here. We got Bengals winning, Packers winning, Chiefs winning, Dolphins winning, Steelers winning, and Pats winning. And that gives you a plus 1751 odds.
I like it. It's a big number. For the drinks on me parlay, it's 0-3 so far. We're going to get that number up. Eagles, Browns, under 47 points. I don't know if I've ever actually put money on an under, but this time I'm doing it with the weather. I think it'll be a low-scoring game like the last couple of Browns games have been. I think they scored – the number was 22 against the Raiders that they scored, and then last week they only scored 17, I want to say. I think it was 10-7. So I think it'll follow that trend in Cleveland. Then Steelers money line, Titans plus 6.5, over 4.5 total touchdowns in the Bengals and Washington football team game. Atlanta to lead going into halftime against the Saints, and then the Vikings money line in the afternoon. And that gets you plus 2,346 odds. $10 gets you $244 responsibly. Responsibly. Thanks everyone for watching. You have any closing thoughts, Steve?
Nah, bet responsibly. Get that PS5 money.
Right. Did you pick it up yet?
No, it's sold out. I can't get it anywhere.